9:31. Oh, here we go. Hi, aloha, good morning. It's 9:31. Mahalo for joining us this morning for the Hawaii Tourism Authority's Thursday, October 30th, 2025 Advisory Board Meeting. As a reminder, if you have a question or would like to testify, please use the Q&A portion or raise your hand. Should you wish to provide testimony, we will recognize you and you may then proceed once unmuted. Item one, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Will you please do a roll call, David?
Thank you. At this time, I'll be conducting the roll call, and I'd like to ask the members that are online to identify themselves and also to respond if there's anybody else in the room with them. So, Chair McCulley.
Good morning, present.
Member Tabura is excused. Member Belmonte.
Present online, and I am alone.
Thank you. Member Elmore.
Present. Oh, sorry, present.
Member Fisher. Okay. He wasn't sure if he was going to be able to join us online. Member Guy.
Present.
Member West. Member Ojiri.
Present.
Member Paulson's excused. Member Wong.
Present.
Member Lazaro.
Present.
David, do we have quorum?
Yes, you have quorum here.
Okay. All right, thank you. We will now proceed to the Wehena, the opening protocol. The opening will be performed this morning by Advisory Board Member Troy Lazaro. Troy?
Aloha.
Aloha.
Aloha kakahiaka. And it's such a wonderful time to be here. There's a lot of change and shift happening in our world. And as we come together today, I just come with this wonderful word, right? Aloha. And with aloha, all things are possible. And you know, when I was thinking about what it was that I would like to express today, I put the kahea out, and it was about working together, people working together, continuing to work together to build upon what we have built and to look to our history and to our past. And then we arrived today, and from Kilohana and Hawaiian Council, we received this wonderful gift of pa'akai. And I'm reminded once again of how wonderful our kupuna are and the lessons that they have taught us. There is no greater group of people to me that could be the shining example of what working together can be like for organizations, for people like the salt makers, most especially those who are from Hanapepe, Kauai, where I'm born and raised. And so in today's protocol, I just like to share that when working together in a salt bed, it takes everyone's work. And as we work together in the lo'i pa'akai, we have to malama not just our space, but the spaces that are around us. We have to be great ho'olohe. We have to be great listeners. We have to be utilize our maka, our eyes, to see what's happening all around in the other beds for families. Because if one space gets, lepo, then it could affect all of the beds. And so when we think about the stewardship of pa'akai, and we think about what that represents, and as we look at this pa'akai here, it's white. You know, white pa'akai is the purest salt. It is untouched by the lo'i. It's untouched by the soil. So it is the finest, we call them glitter in our hula school, but it is the finest kind of pa'akai that you can ever receive. This is the kind of pa'akai that we utilize for protocols, for blessings, for healing properties, and for laulapa'au. And when I look at this pa'akai, I think to myself about all the families that hana and work together. So we could look into their spirit and see how they've been able to work together, because there's 21 families that steward the Lo'i Pa'akai of Hanapepe, and they all have to malama. They all have to work with each other. And so it comes to mind this Oli, entitled Oli Pale, and it's from our lineage of hula that takes us back to Auntie Mary Kavena Pukui, and it is called Oli Pale. And there are many Oli that are written that are titled Oli Pale. But for us, this is a preparedness that we should never lose sight of what is in front of us. May we always look to our past so that we can learn from the Ike that was passed down. And let us steward what we can so that the future generation can prosper and learn. And so I share with you this Oli, which ties me to my kumu and his kumu, entitled Oli Pale. Hoi, ke aloha o ke akua ia kako, apo ke kukui o ke akua ia kako, e malama kamana o ke akua ia kako, ke akua ke kia imaluna o kako, e manavahi a pau o kako, ke akua no Poi ke aloha o ke akua ia kako, apo ke kukui o ke akua ia kako, e malama kamana o ke akua ia kako, ke akua ke kia imaluna o kako, e manavahi a pau o kako, ke akua no Hoi, ke aloha o ke akua ia kako, apo ke kukui o ke akua ia kako, e malama kamana o ke akua ia kako, ke akua ke kia imaluna o kako, e manavahi a pau o kako, ke akua no ke akua I loko o'u, he mana ho'ola. May we all move forward together with this beautiful gift of Pa'akai in mind, so small in li'ili'i, but so big in gesture. May this Pa'akai serve as a reminder for all of us to be pure in light, in life, and in the breath that we get to express each and every day. With aloha, mahalo nui, thank you.
Speak for the board. Fantastic, Member Lazaro. Thank you. If I could extend the metaphor for a moment on salt and tourism before we cry about some of our issues. So salt was one of the earliest means of value. You know, all earlier people everywhere prized salt because you could preserve with it, and it easily disappears. You know, a heavy rain and your salt is back to the earth. And the metaphor is perhaps tourism here in the state of Hawaii. It's a precious thing. It preserves our lives, but it could easily disappear. So that's our kuleana here at this board. So as we go into the work of the day, let's bear in mind how easily some precious things can be lost. Thank you, Troy, for that subject. Yeah. I'm going to move on to agenda item 4. This would be a report of permitted interactions at informational meetings or presentations not organized by the board under HRS section 92-2.5E. Members, do you have anything to report? Any member have any permitted interactions? Hearing none, thank you. We'll have to take, do we have to take a roll call on this? No. All right. Agenda item 5, the approval of minutes for the August 28th, 2025 and the September 11th, 2025 advisory board meetings. Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Marcia. And a second?
Second.
Thank you, Troy. All right. Any discussion? Have you been able to review the minutes? This is important that we understand that our minutes are accurate and reflect our meaning when we have these meetings. So whenever you have the opportunity, let's spend time making sure we were quoted correctly. Okay. Any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none. David, could you do a roll call?
Yes, Chair. Chair Agas is excused. Chair McCauley,
Aye.
Chair Belmonte,
Aye.
Chair Member Elmore,
Aye.
Member Guy,
Aye.
Member Ojiri,
Aye.
Member Wong,
Aye.
Member Lazaro.
Aye.
The minutes are passed.
Thank you, David. I'd like the minutes to reflect that I'm not the chair. I'm the acting co-chair presiding over the meeting. And so we can correct that before it even has to be reviewed. Let's see, the agenda item 6 is our CEO report. For that, we have CEO Caroline Anderson. Could you please proceed?
Sure. Thank you. Aloha board members. Thank you for being here today with us, taking up your time. I wanted to first thank our hardworking staff for all of their efforts, their tireless work that they do. The work is reflected in the CEO report that you have before you. And I just wanted to highlight some of the things that we've been working on over the past 2 months since we last met. First is the Hawaii Convention Center rooftop project. We are in the contracting phase. We have selected Swinerton Builders as the contractor for this project. And again, we are looking at starting this project on schedule on January 2nd. Regarding the brand marketing side of things, I wanted to call up HVCB to provide just a brief update on what has been happening with the Maui Recovery Campaign. And if I could call Tom Mullen up. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tom and Aaron Salah.
Good morning, co-chair.
Get it right.
CEO Anderson, members of the board, thank you for allowing us the time. Aaron Salah, President and CEO of the Hawaii Visitors and Convention Bureau. I'm here with Chief Operating Officer Tom Mullen. Tom has been integrally involved in the operations of the Maui campaign. Again, thank you to HTA for effecting the operationalizing and execution of this project. He'll give a quick update and then I'll come back and sort of contextualize a bit.
Thank you, Aaron. Good morning, everybody. I had a presentation I sent to Caroline, but it got bounced back, so there's nothing to put up on the slide, but I'll go through the best I can. The Maui Recovery Program was a $6 million program that was broken down between 4 major components. One was the wholesale component, there was a direct booking component, there was a social media component, and there was a PR component. The bulk of the money went into the wholesaler component of the program. And to date, what we've seen so far through September is the tactics are running July through December. The tactics are focused on consumer channels. So a lot of the channels for the tour operators are hitting in the September, October timeframe because of timing. And the packages need to have at least 20% in value. What we've seen to date is 38,000 incremental room nights year over year. In terms of what is the year over year rates and occupancy growth on West Maui, in July it was 57.9 in 2024, 66.2 in 2025. In August, it was 50.8 in 2024. It's 61.2 in 2025. In September, it was 49.8 in 2024. It's 61.1 in 2025. And October is showing the same trend. So we're seeing some stickiness with the program. In terms of the direct booking part of the program, we've had over 105 million impressions with over 222,000 people going to the special offers pages where businesses on Maui could offer special offer to consumers where they would book it direct. And then our social media program, where we went out and targeting travelers on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok in the LA, San Francisco, and San Diego markets. We're generating traffic of 29.3 million impressions, 4.7 million video views, and with over 90,000 clicks to the special offer page. And then finally, from a PR standpoint, we've had the series of media visits, and the big thing coming up right now is Entertainment Tonight is coming back out to the Wailea area in the November 5 through 9 period this year. So that's pretty much a wrap up of the program. We're getting some stickiness from it. A lot of the tactics are still in market, and we think it's working.
So ultimately, what we're seeing, what the data is showing us is starting to come in is that this emergency, Maui emergency marketing campaign is working rather successfully. What we're now seeing, as I'm sure members of the board are hearing from the industry, is that Maui's gotten this help. Well, the entire state is in dire need. And so the original proposal of this campaign was a full $10 million ask. That became a $6 million allocation. What we think is important for the sake of discussion here is a revisit of an infusion of the balance of $4 million, because the first quarter of 2026 is still rather dire. And in order to infuse immediately some energy into the market, we're hoping that there's an opportunity to engage in order to partner again with wholesalers to bring some energy to the first quarter of 2026. I'm going to tie that up since I have the floor. Thank you, CEO and Chair. I want to tie that to a dovetailing that we would like to revisit the plan that HVCB presented to the HTA board early 2025 of 3 market saturations in calendar now 2026. That is a $10 million ask. What we're seeing from this project is that currently the most energy comes from Expedia and Costco. Expedia and Costco are primarily direct sales. What that tells us is that the FIT market is really very strong. That points us to understanding the power of a market saturation in San Francisco, in LA, perhaps in the Pacific Northwest. And so we do feel that based on what we're seeing now in the trends in 2026, that a robust campaign above the base budget in incremental funds would be, well, critically important, in all honesty, to the economy of the state. We're really very proud. I'm sorry to put this forward, but we're really very proud of the creative campaign that we are working through right now. Happy to talk about that when the board is ready. But I do think that for the sake of discussion, an infusion of the $4 million, if we can find it, is important, critical now for the first quarter of 2026, and then a revisit of an incremental campaign through market saturation in calendar 2026 would also be critical for our continued sort of survivance in economically speaking for the state. Thank you.
Thank you. Board members, do you have any questions for Aaron or Tom as they sit prior to Carolyn going on with her report? Before we leave, you might recall back when this was decided, it was a rather robust debate about how to allocate funds. Many of the board members weren't available for that. Do you believe this is settled now, that this was the correct path forward to put people on Maui and make definitive progress in resuming our previous tourist levels, visitor levels, versus other options that were discussed or argued at that time?
Oh, so
how to spend the money?
Yeah, there's two ways to think about it. So the way that short answer, Chair, yes, it was the right way to do this program right now. The reason why is that what was happening on Maui was critical. It was dire. And so any kind of infusion of engagement is going to help drive because HVCB and our contracting with the HTA is a higher up on the funnel approach. What this challenges us to do is to work very low on the funnel, drive direct conversion. It isn't HVCB's normal course of action. And so the direction from HTA was clear. And in all honesty, at that point, it was the right direction.
Right. Not building the brand, but putting heads in beds.
Exactly. So now those heads are coming back to those beds. We do need to now just shore up the brand, because what we're now seeing is that the brand is diminishing because the value of the brand is not the same as it was perhaps 5 years ago. Right. And so what we do need to do now is marry this direct conversion activity with an increased elevation of the quality of the brand.
Okay, because if we or you, if any entity is going to go to the legislature and ask for more money, which is what you did as a soft ask a few
Yeah.
minutes ago, there has to be something that can be demonstrated.
Absolutely.
There has to be a cause and effect.
Yes,
So you're fully prepared for that because
absolutely.
I see it in the data in your narrative, but of course we don't have bar graphs to make it more immediate.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes, we are ready for that.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Carolyn, please.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Tom. Okay, to continue. So many of you have attended our tourism conference in September. And, the feedback that we got for this conference, that it was very, very positive. We appreciated bringing industry community together. There are over 560 attendees at this conference, which is a little bit more than last year. So I just wanted to thank the board again for taking the time to attend, and also the staff for their hard work in putting this conference together. And lastly, I just wanted to point out that we are developing our strategic plan and our destination management action plans. Our destination managers and planner have been out in the communities, listening to community visitor industry, hearing their concerns. And I believe that, we have good information, good data to put forward or to develop plans along with the advisory groups for the DMAPs. Also sitting today in our audience is Kathy Ritter. She is the consultant who is helping us to develop our strategic plan. And we would like to provide it to the board for your review next month. So I just wanted to share that out with the board. And with that, I will conclude the CEO report, Vice Chair.
Thank you, Carolyn. Do any of the members have any questions for CEO Anderson? All right. Thank you, Caroline.
Thank you.
Let's see. Moving on, action item number 7. It's requested changes to standing committee memberships. So here, the request is to discuss the selection and appointment of board members to the standing committees. We had our standing committees established in our September 11th meeting. Board members proposed their participation. They had multiple selections. There are now some requested changes that we're dealing with the assignment of committees on film production, tourism, and branding. So board member Belmonte is stepping down from film production, and board member Tabora is stepping down from branding. So it's important that these committees have sufficient members so that they can attain quorum when they have a meeting. So do we have any members that have reviewed their time schedules that they can fit in a committee so that we can have volunteers to fill these slots? Or do we have to press you?
I would volunteer to be in the film committee.
Okay, thank you, Troy. Please make note. It's binding.
It's okay. I might get famous. Just
Okay.
kidding.
All right. I'd like to announce that.
Pretty famous.
I'd like to announce that as the chair of the CEO Search Permitted Action Group, I reached out to Vice Chair Kimberly Agas to serve on that in a very important CEO search. So we are filled out with our 6 members. And I think it goes without saying, Kim brings really valuable experience professionally and culturally to that board. So I look forward to her serving with us on the CEO Permitted Search. So that is now filled out. I think we still have a gap in administrative standing committee. And I think we still have a gap in branding. Film production could take another. How's Oklahoma?
So actually, the admin couldn't have 5, so that's
Sufficient.
yeah, that's sufficient.
Yes.
Yeah, so 5 basically. Branding. Just branding, you would want 1 more.
Okay. All right, so if any members, with what you just heard from Aaron Salah about the presentation of information about working with the Maui recovery, but he said, we have an issue with our brand. We have to get back to thematics. So think about that. And if you could find time in your schedule to serve on the brand standing committee, please let us know. Please let Carolyn or David know.
I'll do branding.
You will? Thank you so much. Thank you, Marcia. You have that now. So we're good for our committees. All right. Yes. So let's, what our motion to approve would be the revised membership committees. We have them on the record, or do we have to read each one into the record?
You should read them. I mean, it's all it's three names.
So do you have that? Let's see. Okay, so let the record reflect that our committees have been revised, and member Marcia Elmore will serve on the. Thank you. HTA meeting for is back in session. So we were reading into the record that we are adding to our branding standing committee, Marcia Elmore, and to our film production committee, Troy Lazaro, and that Kimberly Agas is joining the CEO Search Permitted Interaction Group. Do we need a roll call vote on that?
We need to ask for a motion.
Oh, thank you. I've read that into the record. Can I have a motion to approve? Motion to approve. Thank you, Joel. And a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chris. All right, any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote?
Yes, co-chair. Co-chair Agas is excused. Co-chair McCauley.
Aye.
Member Tabura is excused. Member Belmonte.
Aye.
Member Elmore.
Aye.
Member Fisher is excused. Member Guy.
Aye.
Member West.
Aye.
Member Ojiri.
Aye.
Member Paulson is excused. Member Wong.
Aye.
Member Lazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, so are we done with the staff report then? Yeah, so moving on to agenda item 8, a report of the Branding Standing Committee for their meeting held on October 8th. This is by the chair, Danny Ojiri. Danny?
Thank you, Co-Chair. So I'll be reporting on the meeting held on October 8th. Brand Standing Committee was held. Chair Agas, Member Lazaro, and Member Fisher were in attendance. I was excused as I was in Japan participating in the DBED business mission with the governor, Director Tokioka, Senate President Kochi, and other legislatures. So I can touch on that meeting, on that trip later if you'd like. All 9 global marketing teams presented under the direction of Acting Chief Brand Officer JD Gu. You can access those presentations on the HTA website. The presentation by marketing teams were all in line with the sustainable, responsible, regenerative tourism principles that benefit Hawaii. Each presentation provided an overview of market-specific target segments focusing on high-value mindful travelers. Know that each plan is unique to marketing conditions and industry maturity of the respected source country. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. So the committee had the opportunity to review the presentations in advance and engage with thoughtful questions, providing feedback on programs. Committee members Agas, Lazaro, and Fisher commented on and were pushing for longer stays, pushing for authenticity of the message, and stressing the importance of spreading promotions and efforts to the outer islands. HTA David Uchiyama has a concern with the short-term booking pace of the year, so he was asking the global marketing teams to monitor the pace and report to him accordingly. So let me just do a quick recap of the 9 marketing teams that presented. Now, I promise I get through this in a short amount of time. So Europe, HT was presented by Ms. Amy Thomas. It was interesting to note that they have a collaboration going on with the British Museum that welcomes 6.2 million visitors a year. And there's a plan to have an exhibition exploring the historical link between Great Britain and the Kingdom of Hawaii. As you know, this all started in 1778 when Captain Cook landed in Kona and arrived and marked the beginning of European interest and influence in Hawaii. In Canada, HT Canada, Mr. Colin Wood presented. Canada is the most sensitive to the messages coming out of the White House today. So HT Canada's tactics and strategies are aimed to reinforce Hawaii's image as a welcoming destination, as some Canadians are uncomfortable in the continental US, but view Hawaii differently. So whatever they're doing is going to reinforce Hawaii as a welcoming destination, separating us from the continental US. Oceania presentation was made by Dara Walsh. Oceania is looking at a 5.7% increase in arrivals to 205,000. Interesting thing about Oceania is that half of this business is repeaters. The opportunity lies in the 50% first timers. So they'll be targeting a new generation traveler, an experienced, mindful, high spending visitor, and a woman over the age 50, noted as the high value traveler. We were happy to hear that the Sea Cleaners collaboration is going to continue. That's a very good program that they have going. And it was good to hear that Airlift is stabilizing to service higher quality spending visitors. Japan was reported by HTJ Ayako Ishiwari. Japan will be taking a two-pronged approach, an emphasis on the need for short-term strategies to take care of immediate short-term conversion, along with medium to long-term brand strengthening initiatives. They'll be targeting three segments: affluent segment, active senior segment, and a need to develop a new generation of first-time Hawaii visitors. They will be pushing senior travelers to stay longer and experience the outer islands, which is, I think, is an appropriate move here. Korea was presented by HDK Ms. Irene Lee. Korea is coming out of a period of political uncertainty with new President Lee. The former president was impeached and is in jail. So today there's increased optimism about Korea in general and about their economic future. Korea does have challenges though with airlift, as Hawaiian is pulling out of Korea effective November. But Irene Lee feels that with Korean Air, Asiana Air, and a hybrid carrier, Air Premier, they will be able to take up the slack. And at the end of 26 and early 27, there's talk of other airlines such as Trinity Air and Jane Air showing strong interest in adding lift to Hawaii. Also, they're collaborating with sports marketing, and it's good to hear that they're working with Honolulu Marathon, and the Korean market will be pushing Honolulu Marathon, which is good for the event. China's presentation was made by Dennis Wo. China's interesting collaboration with DBED, with Hawaii Coffee Association, and tourism. So they're creating a campaign that's not just a souvenir for coffee, but creating a meaningful memory using coffee as a tourism tool. They also are very wary of the White House messages coming out of the White House. To counter the White House messages, they'll be making a specific effort to differentiate Hawaii's welcoming message from the continental U.S. Also, they'll be leveraging sister state relationships with both Guangdong and Hainan. Taiwan was produced by Andrew Cole. They are reestablishing a connection with the Hawaii brand because there was a break there with Taiwan for a while. So He's working with reconnecting Taiwan consumers to Hawaii. Leveraging halals in Taiwan. I didn't know they had halals in Taiwan, and also pursuing direct flights there. Global meetings, conventions, and incentives. Vice President Lynn Whitehead was reporting remotely from an IMEX show at that time. Is Ms. Whitehead online? Is she in this meeting?
It's online. Yes.
Would you like to comment on further on?
Absolutely, absolutely. I would love to. Aloha Chair Committee, I am going to give a very brief update on IMEX and Luau, Hawaii. Just 2 weeks ago, we hosted our first Luau, Hawaii, not as a performance, but as a gathering. We invited members of the local Hawaiian community in Vegas, musicians, halau, artisans, and cultural practitioners to join our partners in welcoming meeting planners and clients before IMEX started in the destination. The purpose was simple but powerful: to connect the people to Hawaii in an authentic way. It wasn't about entertainment, it was about connection, culture, and aloha. Our vision is to grow Luau Hawaii into an annual signature tradition, a networking event that unites our partners, elevates Hawaii's presence, and celebrates the people and values that make us unique. From the foundation of Aloha, Meet Hawaii went on to have one of our strongest IMEX showings to date. IMEX America is the largest global meetings and incentive trade show with a strong US buyer base, which continues to be Hawaii's most important market for MCI business. This year's show achieved record participation with over 17,000 total attendees and 6,000 total buyers representing over 62 countries. It truly is a show that we can make a presence and have a stronger impact. 92,000 scheduled meetings took place across 3 days across the entire show. Meet Hawaii was represented by 38 partners across all islands. Collectively, our Hawaii team conducted around 900 appointments and generated an estimated 600 qualified leads for future meetings and incentive programs. A major milestone during IMEX was the signing of a 3-year MOU between the Hawaii Visitor and Convention Bureau and Singapore Tourism Board. This innovative Trans-Pacific Alliance connects the US Pacific and Asia markets, positioning Hawaii and Singapore as gateway destinations for associations expanding internationally from US-based destinations. Together, we will position both destinations as global association hubs, collaborate on joint marketing and educational initiatives, and facilitate client introductions to strengthen international bids. The partnership, combined with the success of Luau Hawaii and the energy in our booth, created meaningful visibility and momentum for Hawaii, reinforcing our role as a trusted world-class meetings destination grounded in culture, connection, and community. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Whitehead. Okay, and finally, 80% of the total arrivals come from HTUSA, and this presentation was made by Dr. Aaron Sala on behalf of HTCB. It was important to note that his plan is distinct from other GMT plans. In this case, it is a branding contract, not a direct sales contract. We have to understand that. Number two, his point is, he mentioned previously, consumer demand is driven by costs. So there is a need to re-elevate the quality of our brand. And he also introduced Ola Hawaii, which is going to be the foundation of our brand. Now, there's no way I can articulate it the way that Dr. Salah can, but I'm going to read a portion of his executive summary that addresses, I think, the direction that the brand is going to go. So bear with me. More than a recovery roadmap, the 26 U.S. brand marketing plan offers a strategic reset. Hawaii's future lies not in competing on cost or convenience, but cultivating a market position rooted in authenticity, integrity, and relevance. By meeting the Hawaii target traveler where they are on platforms that matter, through stories that resonate, this plan ensures Hawaii remains not only competitive, but compelling in a crowded global landscape. Together with HTA and the communities we serve, HBCB offers this plan as both a promise and a provocation to build a tourism future that sustains Hawaii people, protects its places, and inspires the world. I can't think of a better ending to this branding report than that. Try to soak that in for a while. That's all for me.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah, I was fortunate we did have Aaron and Tom providing us with some reference and context prior to your committee. I wanted to understand how we're going to square that circle. You know, that their role is not advertising, their role is branding, right? So that's always something we have to tiptoe down that keen edge, right? Let's see. Thank you, Danny. Let's go to agenda item 9, a report of the Branding Standing Committee for their meeting held, the Film Production Standing Committee of their meeting held on October 16th. Marcia?
Thank you. Good morning, Chair. So we met on October 16th. Quorum was met. Now that we do have, thank you so much, Troy. And I want to mahalo, Troy, for taking us on. Thank you for being part of it, and thank you for supporting us.
Very welcome.
We did meet quorum. Vice Chair Wong was there also. We started the meeting really reiterating what the mission was, because it's a new committee, right? We wanted to make sure that we were all at least on the same footing and have a place to move from there. So we spent time talking about mission, talking about purpose. And then, so that was really short, and we went into executive session to discuss the plan for the Hawaii Film and TV History Museum. I do believe, was that shared already to I know it was shared to HTA, but I hope the board has it. Does the board? If not, you will have it soon.
Thanks.
So that, but I can talk about just 3 main components of that. It's really it is a multi-phase proposal. And the first part of it is really thinking in terms of pop-up, things that we can do quick, things that we can do efficiently and inexpensively, if you will. After consulting with Director Tokioka and his team, the proposal was to look at the Hawaii State Foundation for Culture and the Arts and the space there at the Capitol Modern, or the Hawaii State Art Museum, as it is also known, and to do a small pop-up. One of the projects that was thrown out was perhaps a Chief of War pop-up, since that's really front of mind for a lot of people. So a small pop-up museum really celebrating that piece or any other project that is agreed upon, to think and talk about what we're doing now and what really has a lot of eyes and attention on it, Chief of War being one. Historically, shows like Lost, also this last year, Lilo and Stitch, something like that, a focus on that. So that's one component that's part of phase 1. Another component of the proposal was a film grant fund of some kind. Don't know the name yet. That's something we'll collaborate on, is to think of what that would be called, but really to focus on local talent and local filmmakers, something in conjunction with HBCB and perhaps going on off of their theme that was presented at the tourism conference. And it's, I really think, a strong theme of the Hawaii Stays With You. In the proposal, it's laid out a possible way to fund filmmakers to make short film or projects that play on that theme. And then the third part would be, once those films are made, perhaps doing pop-up little mini film festivals in strategic locations to, activate and draw attention to Hawaii in that way, to showcase not only that Hawaii stays with you, but that Hawaii is a place for filmmaking to happen. So it's a lot that I tried to condense. I believe it's like a 12-page proposal that hopefully will be out soon for the members to peruse. I do believe HTA has it now for their review too. Thank you. And then we came back from executive session and adjourned. It was a short meeting.
Thank you, Marcia. Any questions by members on the Film Production Standing Committee? Okay, so Marcia, can you
Let me think. I can't answer that one alone.
Marissa,
Yes, yes, sir.
do you have a motion that we would?
Yes, I believe it's the budget implications part. Would that be the
Yeah.
part we're thinking about? I have it highlighted. Is that what you wanted me to motion on?
Based on the following page.
I. Thank you. The following page, I highlighted the wrong thing. Staff will further assess the proposed draft proposal with DBED director. So that is the recommendation. Since HTA has it now, the recommendation is that staff will further assess the proposal. And also, I did want to point out that there is the budget implication possibly to utilize HTA's unallocated funds in brand marketing to fund the draft proposal, which includes the initial 200,000 for the pilot grant program. That was the filmmaker program I was discussing. And the recommendation would be then for staff to assess this proposed draft with the DBED director. Thank you very much. Do we need to make a motion to accept the recommendation?
Yes.
Okay.
You can just say aye. You can just say that's your motion on the
That,
floor. Yes. okay.
I will make the motion then. Hopefully someone seconds I make the motion to have staff further assess the proposed draft proposal with the DBED director.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Second.
Thank you. We'll go with that. All right. Can we have a roll call, David?
Okay. Co-chair Agas is excused. Co-chair McCully.
Aye.
Co-chair Tabura is excused. I'm sorry, member Belmonte,
Aye.
member Elmore,
Aye.
member Fisher is excused, member Guy,
Aye.
member West.
Aye.
Member Ojiri,
Aye.
member Paulson is excused, member Wong,
Aye.
member Lazaro,
Aye.
motion passed.
Thank you, David. Let's see, the next agenda item is number 10, the report of the Administrative Standing Committee for the meeting held on October 20th, and I'll be presenting that report as the chair. So the Administrative Standing Committee meeting was held on October 20th. I was the chair, Joel Guy was vice chair, Leah Belmonte, Maricia Elmore, and Lisa Paulson were able to attend. From our committee, non-voting members present were Troy Lazaro and Danny Ojiri. Thank you. I encourage all board members to attend as many committee meetings as they can. HTA staff present was David, Talon, and Amalia, and our guest was Director Tokioka from DBED. So what's the gist of it? It's a 9-page minutes. Brevity is not my gift. That was pretty brief, but so at this meeting, we reviewed the current proposed administrative charter for this administrative committee, which is the bylaw that staff had drafted as they did drafts for all of our committees. And what we did was we referred to the previous bylaws and what were the roles for the administrative committee at that time. Previously, we had bylaws and policies. We had to establish and execute audits. We had to, including for financial integrity, we had to enforce a code of we had to establish and enforce a code of conduct for financial integrity. And then we had to deal with matters relating to legislative and governmental interactions and affairs. Currently, the sole responsibility of the admin committee proposed was the recruitment, hiring, and the contract terms for a CEO, and then the evaluation of that president and CEO. The committee recommended that that our bylaws be extended to include the CEO as proposed by staff, but also that this admin committee would have oversight and responsibility for bylaws as formerly, and for the legislative and governmental interactions. Even though most of that will be assigned to the permitted interaction group, this committee would have oversight. This will be in the form of a motion at the end of this report. Okay. In regards to our ongoing CEO search, there is a draft letter that that the committee reviewed. I think you all have it as an attachment or an addendum to your packet. This draft letter, if approved by the board, is going to be forwarded to the DBED director for dissemination, for transmittal to the list of nominees that Bishop and Company provided to this board for further consideration. The number is, there's 23 applicants out of 300 plus that they referred to us. We are not providing the list of names, and the list of names that I received does not include addresses or any means of communication. All that resides with the DBED director at this time. So if you have an opportunity to review this letter, if you see anything from your personal or professional experience where this letter might be amended further, please provide it, and we'd appreciate that. Let's see. I just now referenced the CEO search pig. It has been permitted interaction group. That's not a great acronym. That has been filled with Kimberly Agassi's participation. What this pig, just to advise the board, and the board might have recommendations for this pig to consider, but we will discuss the previous search parameters. And if available, we'll have an interview with the Bishop and Company manager of that search. And we would like their perspective and suggestions, because they're out of contract now. But for the record, I had a discussion with this individual, and they are willing to help participate with this ongoing search. So they said they would be available if requested to discuss things with the permitted interaction group. I think that'd be very helpful. So just keeping the board abreast of that. This permitted interaction group, I'm going to propose a meeting. This is not a sunshine group. We don't have a restricted period of time for notice. That's one of the important things about a PIG, is that they can act with alacrity. They can move. So we're going to have that meeting between now and the next admin committee. The next admin committee will be in November, but prior to that, we have one more thing to discuss at the board level, or to bring to the board's approval. And that's another attachment or memo that was given to you for your package. It's the resolution. This is did you get this, or is it just me? Okay. So formerly, the policy of this board was annually to draft and approve a resolution to delegate the authority to present the policy positions of the Hawaii Tourism Authority. By statute, the president and CEO is directed to represent the authority to the legislature. But historically, this resolution provided for the specific delegation of that authority for federal, state, and county levels. And it also included that the board of directors would include other representation. And commonly, it was the board chair or their designee, the chair of the legislative PIG, to represent the HTA in these discussions. Then this resolution would go on to address the topics of the day, our focus on funding and policy decisions. And so it would present to the legislature or to anyone who observed or reviewed this resolution what our focus was for the upcoming year. So this is generally drafted by staff and then voted on and approved by the board. So I would suggest that at our December meeting, which is proposed for December 18th, we will have this resolution with the agreement of the DBED director that this is still appropriate. And so John Cole, myself will discuss with, and Caroline will discuss with DBED Director Tokioka that this is still an appropriate path forward. And then it would be available for the board's approval at the December meeting prior to the legislature going into session. So that's an update. Now, when I call for the next admin committee meeting, which I'm going to propose to staff be November 11th, I'd like to recommend that all the board committee chairs attempt or attend that meeting, because as we discuss the bylaws that define what your committee is, you should be part of that discussion. You know your committee best by the work you're doing now to understand the responsibilities of your committee. You are not limited to the initial draft for your committee charter. You might think that there are things that are important for your committee to have based within our policy. I'm working with Vice Chair Guy on definitions. We, at the very least, we need to define what an advisory board is so that future members who are not going to be part of the discussions as we germinate as a board, that they know what was the intention of the legislature. And so we will conduct discussions with the legislature and with the DBED director and try to clarify the 201B as it has been amended. So at this time, I'd like to make a resolution that we disseminate the CEO search committee letter as drafted, and that it be forwarded to the DBED director for distribution to the list of 23 members recommended by Bishop and Company.
So moved.
Thank you, Joel. Can I have a second?
Second.
Thanks, Chris. David, could you do a roll call vote?
Co-Chair Agas is excused. Co-Chair McCully.
Aye.
Member DeBoer is excused. Member Balmelte.
Aye.
Member Elmore.
Aye.
Member Fisher is excused. Member Guy.
Aye.
Member West.
Aye.
Member Ojiri.
Aye.
Member Paulson is excused. Member Wong.
Aye.
Member Lazaro.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you, board. And that is the administrative committee report for today's meeting. Okay. So on your agenda, you'll see agenda item 11, which is the discussion and action on advisory board roles and responsibilities. So staff, in conjunction with Director Tokioka, has come up with a draft recommendation for discussion. This will be on our agenda at our December meeting. It'll be fleshed out. It kind of overlaps with the ongoing discussion at our admin committee and that we've heard out in our previous board meetings. So if you have spent any time thinking about this board in your tossing and turning at night, bring it to our attention and let it be part of this debate so that we have a better effectuated advisory board. Just as a reminder, as a point of privilege, I guess, an advisory board is distinctly different from a governance board. Previously, we had decision-making authority, and part of that is that the decisions we made were binding on staff. We're now an advisory board. We're here to offer suggestions or advice. They're non-binding, and they're offered in support rather than direction. So how do we add meaning? So there's a concept in governance and boards, and I've stumbled upon it. It's a trend. I hadn't heard of it before. It's called PESTLE, which is, like a mortar and a pestle. And PESTLE is an acronym that stands for a stakeholder approach to a board, which is political, E, economical, E, sociological, S, technological, legal, and environmental, spelling out PESTLE. All right. So I'm not a fan of acronyms. I was never a member of the military. It's not an easy thing for me to grasp, but this PESTLE makes some sense. And because it defines this broad approach that this advisory board now has to take, representing economic interests, community interests, the political elements that created and govern HTA. So it would perhaps provide a lens for us to understand how to move forward. So I offer that as for your consideration as we move. All right. So this agenda item will not be heard today. We will postpone it until the December meeting. Yeah, oh, and all of you will get this draft by email, okay? Sure. And then use that as an outline. It's not fully baked, okay? This cake is in mix. All right, let's see. Does anyone have anything else that they'd like to discuss today? Yes, please, Linda.
Back to the search for CEO, are you going to be opening this up to other applicants? Because I noticed it was at 2024 that people were putting in their applications.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering.
Very, very good, very fair. Things change, people change.
Uh-huh.
You know, whoever those hundreds of people were that applied at that time, they did it under the cloud that HTA was operating under at that time. And so now it's a different HTA. It's a different CEO position in some respects. It's a more powerful one. Yeah. And this board's sole responsibility is to get that right. So can we get it right, given that we're going into a legislative session that we're not sure what the outcome will be? And so all these things need to be discussed. But I would agree with you that whomever that body, that pool of applicants were in 2024, it was in July, August, has changed. And the economy has changed. Other people's positions have changed. So I would think that it would be incumbent upon us. And I think that's what the CEO search pig has to grapple with.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have a recommendation that we do it?
I do
Yeah,
make a motion that we
it wouldn't be in the form of a motion. It would just be,
consider opening it up to new applicants so that you have a bigger pool of more recent people.
Yeah. So Linda, where that opens up the door is, are we going to ask to use funds to resume the search, or to begin a new fresh start kind of a search, you know? And so that's something that's not the province solely of the CEO search pig. That should be this board at large. That's the board's Kuleana. Yes, Chris.
Well, being a member of the last tragedy, I think, to Linda's point and to your point, that it would be to our advantage, or to the Hawaii Tourism Authority's advantage, to reopen it, get a fresh start. I think that cloud that you spoke about, I agree that there was one, and there may have been applicants that didn't want no part of it before, that now may. And if we're gonna look at putting the best person there, I think maybe a fresh start sounds appropriate. Now, the funding part of it, I'm not familiar with what we're looking at, but I think can we afford not to? Might be a question to look at it that way too. So I'm in support of Linda's proposal. It's all on you, Linda. Just kidding. But yeah, I think a fresh start, to your point, considering what we've gone through, would be good, in my opinion.
Thanks, Chris. Anyone else is Milo?
I think we should really take advantage of the opportunity of the applicants that we currently have. I know that there was quite a large investment made to seek them. And I think it would be a waste of our monies if we don't look at those candidates and really give them a fair shot. Because if they were willing to step into the role with the previous administration, then it should be even more exciting for them to work with this administration. So I think just, from sitting in and listening to your meeting, I think it would be great, because people do change and they do shift, but there's not a lot of people who apply for CEO positions. And so if there is someone that's going to be applying for a CEO position, they know what they're going to bring to the table. They shouldn't come guessing or thinking. So with the investment that has been made, personally, I feel like it would be to our advantage to look at the applicants that were narrowed down to the best quality ones. And why don't we look at that before we venture off into looking into other opportunities? Because if that kind of investment was made, then I'm sure it was in the best interest of our administration.
Great. I think this is why there's a range of appointments at this board, is to hear different perspectives. And I appreciate what Troy said. And in fact, I think it's incumbent upon us for a consideration of those applicants and to get through that process of learning as a group, how to vet, how to go through this stack.
Yeah.
And try to do an evaluation process, which also could very well inform the next search. If none of them make the threshold for us at this time, then we really better understand how to create the job description for the next search. So it's an exercise, and that could end up having a great CEO or could lead to a better search in the future. Yeah,
Yeah, I
possible.
agree with that.
Anyone else have?
Yes, I do support how we can find the brightest and the best for this position. It's an extremely important position. I think I've heard it said a few times that this is one of our only real decisions that we're making.
Period. It's our only.
Right. So, and yet the ramifications of it are huge, right? The ripple effect of that is going to guide this and then hopefully support this amazing industry throughout the whole state and all the people that it affects. And not to get into process and kind of step away from that, but just to be clear, like if we do expand it further, does that affect our communication to the current, top 23, I think it was? And do we want to look at this under that lens? Like, hey, we will also look to expand this if that's the direction we're going in or not. So I'm just kind of going back to this letter. I'm not sure when this is getting sent out, but if we're going to open up to more as kind of a next round, we probably want to consider that in our communication to those guys and girls.
Fair point. Marcia?
I think because I'm new, so I'm trying to be really careful. And a mentor once told me that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. So I'm doing my best just to listen. But these are really good points that have been stated. I second what Joel was saying, though, that if this is something we're going to do, then I think this letter needs to be amended, because thinking of the 23 that applied, and they know they're the 23 already, or no? They know that they're
No, this is the first
Okay,
public
so
notice.
maybe not then. But if they did, I think it would be and we were to open it up again, they should know that it's going to be opened up again, that they are no longer the top 23, that we're going to bring new people in. So this is it's not something I take lightly, because it is our only mandate as of now. This is it. And so I really think that it deserves serious thought. And these are wonderful points made. But I mean, right now, I understand what Joel is saying. And I think that's kind of where I am, that if we do this, then we need to make sure everybody knows and we're all on the same page. And now we're opening it up. And in terms of fiscal responsibility, I also understand to member Lazaro's point that this is money. I think we've already spent a good chunk of money. Can we afford it? Then can we not? But I tend to be more fiscally responsible. So if we're going to say where are you on the spectrum, I'm going to lean more towards let's do what we have now before we're looking out.
So one thing I can assure you is that when the CEO search permitted interaction group meets probably next week, I'm really going to work hard to have Bishop and Company represented there and get a report from that individual this is their job. Their role in the community is to find individuals like this one and try to get their perspective in 2025. October or November. So with that, perhaps as individual board members, we can provide constructive discussion in open or in an executive session. The group itself, the permitted interaction group, cannot give a report to this board until it's the final report, at which point we're dissolved. So we're not going to do that until we have somebody sitting permanently in the seat.
And I think another thing that has to be top of mind for all of us, because it's a different board, and now I'm being such a diplomat, touching on what Member West said, I'm not sure what the focus was before when we were searching, right? Whenever we're looking for people. But now I think it's really, really important that the person that comes in has relationships at the ledge. I mean, I think that is going to be a huge part of it, whether that was the focus before or how strong it was a focus. We really need to think about, this person and who they are in the community, and hopefully they do come from the community. That's another big part. And that they have those relationships with the community and especially with lawmakers who are really deciding, like going back to SALT, right? The fate of not only our tourism industry, but really our board.
Yeah, so Danny, anything to provide perspective?
I'm kind of new to this, co-chair, so it's interesting. Part of me says that we got to get this done. Part of me says that we got to do it right. And remember Wang's comment about a year has passed is a valid thing. I was wondering, do we have to go through that third party?
I'm sorry, I was.
Do we have to go through that third party?
We're not
service
required to.
That costs money.
Yes,
Because there's only a certain amount of people here. I shouldn't say this, but if we're looking for somebody who has a strong relationship with the ledge, do we need this third party involvement?
It's tricky.
Yeah.
And we certainly wouldn't be looking at some, world leader from the University of Paris to come into Hawaii and try to have relationships with the governor and the ledge. Yeah, Linda, did you have?
Yeah, I think maybe since you have a pool already, evaluate those 23 or whoever you have first and see if one of them matches what we really need. And then if we're still, it doesn't quite fit what we're looking for, then maybe what we have to do is just, either do a search on our own or, find some other applicants. But I think Troy's right. Let's evaluate the ones that we have that went through the process and then see if that will match up with the requirements that we need. Good, good community relations, good legislative relationships.
Thanks, Linda. Let me just make clear that we're not going to do anything that doesn't fit with the procurement responsibilities that we have controlling us as a attached agency to DBED. So all of this goes through AG and director, to make sure it's correct. Oh, no. I've been advised that we have a member of the audience is Senator Favela. So Senator, I was told you'd like to contribute. Are you available now?
One moment, I'm promoting him to speak.
Okay, thank you. You're being promoted, Senator. Usually that means governor, but now it's just to address us.
You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah. So I understand you guys want to things that change, whatnot, but I mean, you guys already have spent or money has been spent on the choosing these 23 or selecting 23 applicants to start over. It's going to delay the process of what we've been saying here, that we need somebody in the driver's seat in a timely manner. And I know previous committee hearings that was stressed upon the acting CEO now, how important that is with the selection process and getting this thing done. So if we're gonna, I guess, prolong it or try to evaluate and try to go out and let the applicants know, the 23 applicants know that you guys are gonna think about reopening it. I understand times had changed, money had changed, all of this has changed. Is the position for the funding of the CEO and how much you guys are paying the CEO will change? And if it's not going to change, then the applicants that you guys had already for the selective of these 23 should move forward. I understand the dynamics of the board has changed, but the dynamics of the selection of what you guys are going to evaluate is on the new board. So if you guys are going to evaluate, not make a decision, but evaluate the 23 candidates and they don't fit within the parameters of what you guys think now with the new board, is understandable. But to go and let the 23 candidates know that you guys are going to reopen it for selection, I think that's not fair. Especially with the ledge want this CEO to take position right away.
Thank you, Senator. While you're on, do any of the members have questions or want to continue the discussion with Senator Favela? It's a rare treat to have a sitting senator join us. If not, thank you, Senator. I think you make good points. I appreciate it. Leah, are you online still? Can I see you?
I am.
Hi.
So
yes. Yeah.
I do agree that we should still consider the 23 candidates, especially with the investment that was put in with Bishop and company before we do move forward. And just so agree with the fact that we should make it clear in the letter that is then issued to the potential candidates.
Well, to make clear is that we may open it up if these 23, we don't find someone suitable, we may open it up.
Correct.
Kind of a, yeah. Yes, Chris.
Just to clarify from what you said earlier, this 23 does not know that they're 23.
No, as of now they do.
Well, so I guess.
Well, actually, they don't know that they are part of the 23. If they get a letter from us, they'll know that they made the 23 cut.
Right, but there's 23 out there, and but nobody knows who's part of that 23.
I can make a reveal. Okay, I can drop a curtain. It's 22 because I believe one of them has advised us that they're no longer inclined to continue their interest.
Which leads to my original point that things have changed. Now I'm for keeping, the people that are there because we did spend money on it, but at the same time, I think things have changed dramatically. Another thing that we need to consider, and those of us that were part of the previous board know that there is a cloud that resides over the Hawaii Tourism Authority that is something that needs to be considered as well. So perhaps the word fresh start wasn't the thing that maybe we both meant, but opening it up and expanding the process and including the ones that we had before, but also, maybe there is someone that meets the criteria that many of us feel is important, like having a relationship with the legislative, that didn't want no part of it before, that may be now interested again, because now we're having people drop off. So on the other side, we may have people that may now be interested that could lead this.
Yeah. And one thing I want to say is that in part of this interview, perhaps with the Bishop and Company executive, is just exactly what were the parameters that led to the 23? What was their criteria? How did they vet the group, right, down to that number? And does it align or accord with what our interests were then? Were we looking for a King Kamehameha or an Abraham Lincoln as far as a wartime leader? Were we looking for somebody that brought people together or somebody who got things done and led to a conclusion?
Yes, Co-Chair, I think I agree with that. I think we need to check what those parameters were then and what they are now.
Yeah.
Because 1 year ago, it was a different world, as Member West mentioned. So we don't want to carry on the past. If we're going to hire somebody new, it needs to be fresh. Now, whether that includes the 22 or 23 or whatever that number is maybe a separate issue. But the parameters, I think at least we need to check maybe the parameters if that's applicable for our needs now.
Yeah, so that would have to be limited to the permitted interaction group, or could I request that come to the administrative committee where all could participate.
No, yeah, I was thinking you could invite them to the committee meeting and therefore everybody could ask questions and hear what, they did during the first search and what their parameters were and other questions folks may have.
Okay, good. Okay.
Get into privacy or personnel.
So then that's what I'll do is for my next admin committee, standing committee, I would try to see if they're available at that time and I'll adjust the proposed schedule so they could be available so that all of us could attend. Yeah. In agreement? Yeah. Mercy?
So I guess it's a point of information. Hearing the senator's, hearing his concern about timeliness.
Sure.
What was the original timeline? I mean, whether or not it matters, but I'm just curious, what was, because when we hire a third party to do this, we have a timeline. Here's your deliverables at each time. Where are we on the timeline or what was the timeline?
The timeline was successful completion by December of 24.
Okay.
So let's just say we're a little busted. And it just didn't work for a number of reasons. And a lot of it was the fact that the legislature was clearly going to review and amend the HTA as it existed. And it's very hard to do a viable CEO search and potentially revealing names and information that tends to get out into the public or would have to be revealed to the public at some point. In a way that could harm that applicant. Our Kuleana is not just to the community, it's to those individuals that are doing these applications. Yeah. Yes, Joel.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation kind of shifting from the pool to what is the criteria we're considering. I think that's a real important conversation to have, whether it's in the PIG or in this group. And I've heard it before today that things have changed so much since they were, I guess I've been kind of wrestling with what is our hope with this leader, right? What are we looking for? And I've been looking for I've seen some job descriptions and some task lists, but like really getting a clear understanding as a group of who are we trying to, put in this position. I absolutely agree that this legislative strength has to be there. It's been something that's come out a lot. My hope is that there'll be a leader that can build strong relationships within communities to try to solve the challenges out there, and that would reciprocate back to legislators so that there would be less pressure on them to be able to convince legislators. The proof would be in the work of the body that we're doing. And so that person would be strong in that avenue. But once again, I'm just kind of shooting from the hip on that, right? So I guess having those discussions of it would be interesting to see the criteria. And so your invitation to the person who was leading that is exciting for me to kind of understand where they were coming from, what has changed, and then how do we build this criteria now so that we can really make sure that we're all in agreement of what we're looking for. What are we trying to get out of this person, or what are we trying to, build from within that relationship? So yeah, I'm excited to hear and maybe even hear from other board members. What are we looking for in a leader? I know the strategic plan's coming out. So they're going to want to be able to implement some of that. We're not sure what that is yet, but we want to make sure we hire somebody. So just all of that information as we gather to try to really come up with the criteria, I guess is the right word, of what we're trying to find in this leader.
Thank you, Joel. So this has turned into kind of a yeasty discussion, and that's good. That's why we're here. That's why the governor appointed us all. Anything else to add to this discussion? And then I, as the admin chair and as the chair of the Permitted Interaction Group and functioning as the co-chair of this board, have a lot to consider. I'll discuss it with staff. We have a motion to disseminate that letter as it was drafted. And that was approved. Well, it was a roll call vote. So I'm not sure how to handle this, given the input from everybody, including the senator. I've taken everything under advisement. I'll talk to the DBED director as well. So is there anything else that this board would like to discuss at this time? Hearing none. Did we take a vote? Are we all good with our votes, David?
Yes, we are.
You're keeping us in order? All right.
John is too.
Okay. Thank you, John. Thank you, David. If there's no further discussion, we're going to adjourn this meeting at 10:56. Thank you for your time and your dedication. Appreciate it. And aloha.
Aloha.
Mahalo. This concludes the Hawaii Tourism Authority's Thursday, October 30th, 2025 Advisory Board meeting. Mahalo for joining us today. Ahoy ho.